buying books and reading books are two different hobbies, and I just happen to enjoy both of them. My number will be on the screen, so if I get it wrong, then... Hello friends, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, it's going to be in two parts because I don't know, my kids and my husband have gone to a birthday party, so I don't know how long I have until they get home. Let's frame the face a little bit. So we're gonna start my bookshelf, balance the shelves, and then I'll probably have to finish it on another day. So we're gonna see how far we get into this video before we have to stop. So yeah, this month I kind of went balls to the wall because the month of July is going to be, other than books that I've already ordered or pre-orders, the month of July is going to be a no buy July. And because there are a lot of books that I want to reread, and I feel bad rereading while my TBR continues to go up. So we'll see how that goes. Once again, I always feel like I have to say this, but buying books and reading books are two different hobbies, and I just happen to enjoy both of them. It's something that I enjoy, and it's something I'm going to continue to do. And I enjoy doing these videos just so I can kind of see where my TBR number is kind of going. And yeah, so without further ado, we're going to get started. I've been kind of going through all my tabs and trying to declutter, but okay, so we're going to start off and we're going to see how far we can go until I just put my watch on upside down, until they get home. So you might see me a different day, a different outfit, but all right, without further ado, here we go. So I started the month at, as normal, we're going to put our number on the screen. So our starting number was 372 books, and we started off by I watched the movie and I was like, I have to read this book, and that is Persuasion by Jane Austen. So this brought us up to 373. And then y'all know I've been loving this series, so I bought the next book in this series because I just finished the second one. So this is book 3 in the something beast series, but this is her Psycho Beast, and this brought us up to 374. And again, I'm going to be putting these on the shelves and getting them out of the way as we go. And then you will have saw this video, but we read some books. I read So Not Meant to Be, and this brought us down to 373. I DNF'd Hookshot, and this brought us down to 372. We read Don't Fear the Reaper, which brought us down to 371. And then, because the Blackadder Brotherhood TV show was coming out, I bought Dark Lover, which brought us to 372. And then I read The Cruel Prince, which brought us down to 371. And then my book of the month box came in, and I only got one book this month, and we got Next to Heaven by James Frey, and this brought us up to 372. And then because I enjoyed the second book in that series so much, Don't Fear the Reaper, off Pango, I got the last book in that trilogy, Angel of Indian Lake, which brought us to 373. We finished Betting on You by Lynn Painter, which brought us down to 372. And then my pre-order, Problematic Summer Romance, came in, so 373. I read What Did You Do by Janine O'Reilly, which brought us back down to 372. And then my Aardvark box pick came in, which was The Devils by Joe Abercrombie, which brought us to 373. And then because Books and Lala raves about this series, I got the first book in the Raven Boys series, which brought us to 374. My pre-order of Beautiful Venom by Rena Kent came in, which brought us up to 375. And then because I started reading the Blackadder Brotherhood series and I was loving it so much, I bought Lover Eternal, which is book 2, which brought us up to 376. All right. And then we finished Dark Lover, which brought us down to 375. I think I forgot to put a book that I read on here. But we read 9 Month Contract, which I'm going to just have to put the numbers on here now because, let's see. So we did Dark Lover, and then we did Wait for You, which brought us down to 374. We read God of War, which brought us down to 373. And then we read 9 Month Contract, which brought us down to 372. Okay, I'm just going to have to put the numbers on the screen because I cannot go through and add all of these, like, so we were at $372. And then my pre-order for Can You Take It came in, which brought us up to $373. I got Until Summer Do Us Part, which brought us up to $374. We then read King of Greed, which brought us back down to $373. And we read Scandalous, which brought us back down to $372. Then my pre-order of Caught Up came in, which brought us back up to $373. And then came my Target run that you saw in that video. So we have Exquisite Ruin, which brought us to $374. Story of My Life, which brought us to $375. Gravity, which brought us to $376. Beneath the Surface and Beneath the Hood, which brought us up to $378. And With a Vengeance, which brought us up to $379. Here is where we went a little crazy. We read book 3 in the Infinite Fate, or the Infatuated Fate series, which is Where Did You Go?, which brought us down to $378. You may just want to ignore all of my numbers from here on out, because I have no idea what number we're on. We finished Club 22 by Tate James, which brought us, I think, $377. And then Her Rapid Beast, which brought us down, I think, to $376. All right, and then I got my order in of Passenger Princess by Morgan Elizabeth, which brought us back up to $377. And then I finished Beneath the Stars by Emily McIntyre, which brought us back down to $376. And then we get to all of my pre-orders that came in all at one time. I bought the third book, Lover Awakened. This is not a pre-order. So Lover Awakened, which brought us up to $377, I think is my number. Pre-order for Kill Creatures came in, which brought us up to $378. My pre-order for Echo Fort came in, which brought us to $379. My pre-order for the 7-Year Itch came in, which brought us up to $380. Pre-order for The Robin and the Oak Throne came in, which brought us up to $381. Then I had my little Books A Million excursion where I bought the first 2 books. We have Book of Azrael and The Throne of Broken Gods, which brought us up to $383, I believe. And then off of Pango, I got the Pack Darling Duet, which brought us up to $385. And then this finally came back in stock. I got the 4th book in this series, Her Tortured Beast, which brought us up to $386. Right, and then I did an unhaul of 6 books, which brought us down to $380. I got The Raven Scholar, which brought us up to $381. We got Anathema, because this is being traditionally published and I wanted this cover, which brought us up to $380. My number will be on the screen, so if I get it wrong, then... And then the only series I have not read in the Zodiac Academy world is... What is this series? Dartmoor Penitentiary. So I got the first book, which is Caged Wolf. And then because it was on sale, I got Practice Makes Perfect. So this brought us up to 81, 82, I think $384. I ordered the 3rd book that's out in this series, which is the Dawn of the Cursed Queen. And I'll have the number right here because I've done lost count. And then I didn't put it in the book in a video, but when I went for a work meeting, I went to Barnes & Noble, and I got Mapping the Interior, Blood Marked, and Holding the Reins. All right, then we read some. We read Pack Darling 1, which brought us down to this number. We read Something in the Walls, which brought us down to this number. We read Pack Darling 2, which brought us down to this number. And then I decided that I'm going to DNF the Last Hour series. I tried to reread book 1, and I just could not... I didn't care. So that gave us 2 books unhauled from my TBR, which brought us down to this number. And then because it was on sale, I got Beg, Borrow, or Steal, which brought us up to this number. We read Mapping the Interior, which brought us down to this number. And then I got Cash, which brought us up to this number. We read Till Summer Do Us Part, which brought us down to this number. And then my pre-order for the newly traditionally published Psycho Shifters came, which brought us up to this number. And then off of Pango, I got One Pucked Up Pack, which brought us up to this number. And then we finished Rule of the Aurora Queen, Aurora King, which brought us down to this number. Last little haul, I hope. All right, so I got Firebird, which brought us up to this number. I got For Whom the Bell Tolls, which brought us up to this number. I got Not Safe for Work, which brought us up to this number. My Fairy Loot box came in, which is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil, which brought us up to this number. I got Severed Heart, which brought us up to this number. I got Tale of the Heart Queen, which is the last book in that series, which brought us up to this number. And then I got Detonate, which brought us up to this number. I got Gloves Off, which brought us up to this number. And then we read Wild Eyes, which brought us down to this number. And then for the first time in known history of me, I decided to DNF a series from the Twisted Sisters, which I had 3 of the 5 books in the series, I believe. I'd read 1, so 2 of them were unread. I could not bring myself to care. Maybe I'll pick it up again in the future, who knows. But that took 2 books off my TBR, which brought us down to this number. And then today I got this book in the mail. It's the last book in a duology that I started or either end of last year, earlier this year, which is Capital Promises, which brought us up to this number. All right, I believe my family just pulled in, which is great because that brings us to where I'm at so far. There is 3 more days left in the month. I am planning to finish a couple more books, so I will come to you on the 30th and we'll finish up this video. Alright, I am here for the end of this Balance the Bookshelves. So we did add 1 more book, which was Distance by Luna Mason, which brought us up to this number. And then I finished The Chase by Elle Kennedy, which brought us down to this number. And then I DNF'd Timber by Tate James, which brought us down to this number. Now, I love her Madison Kate series. This is a spinoff from that series. I just didn't like it as much, and I felt by this book, I was like, okay, I just don't care anymore. Maybe one day I will, and I'll pick up the series again, but for right now, it's a no. But yeah, so that is our Balance the Bookshelves. If you got this far and you don't know what to say, just leave a book, a little book stack in the comments. That way I know you made it this far because my books are stacking up. And if you haven't already, like, subscribe, join my bookish community. It would make my day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.